I was talking with you downstairs, and you were telling about your son Sullivan. You asked me to ask about him.
Yeah. My son Sullivan. Yeah. He kicks it. Yeah. Let's see. So he took over my band. You know, a couple of years ago, he took his band. He's 19 now, but when he was like 14, his band came and warmed up for my band in Los Angeles when we played LA, and they were so good. It was all stuff that he wrote, and they were so good that they my band voted him into the band without asking. When it came time to go to college, he was wondering about his major, and he asked Kevin McPherson, who's the bassist for Ghost of the Robot, the band I'm in. Kevin is a very successful musician apart from Ghost. He's touring with Lana Del Rey now, and he's a session musician in Los Angeles, makes a lot of money doing that. And Kevin said, you shouldn't go to school for music. You should go to school for something else because you're already good enough in music. You could start being a session musician right now. And I said to Sullivan, I said, you know, if you choose performing arts, it's a great life, but poverty is part of the bargain. And if you can be comfortable with extreme poverty, then being a performing artist is a great life. And that's what I chose, and I was really happy, but I was not eating meat. But when you came along, I told him, then it got hard. When you become a parent, poverty's so bad. So, for me. And that's actually why I went down to Los Angeles and tried to make some actual money. That's why you guys know me at all, is because my son was born. So I came down to do television. So I said, you know, if you don't want to be a parent, and if you can just eat like oatmeal and ramen all your life, then be a performing artist, and you'll be happy, seriously. But that's the bargain. And so he's going to school for political science.
Poli-sci is good.
Yeah, poli-sci is good. He ran for Senate in his university and won. He ran for re-election and won. He's the up-and-coming senator now. He has his own committee. They gave him like this prestigious grant. He and two other students are supposed to come up with something that improves the school. They have 3 years to plan it and implement it, and by the time they graduate, it has to be in.
That's awesome.
And so during the summer, you know, like I went and got a summer job, and I was like a busboy. This guy gets a summer job, and he's canvassing for a political organization. Like in California, there's a law that says that you can't use plastic bags anymore because there's like a Texas-sized floating island in the middle of the ocean, right? So we passed that in California, but the plastic bag people, the industry, got angry about this, and so they flooded from out of state. They flooded California with a campaign to overturn that voter-driven law. And so Sullivan was with a group that's trying to fight that overturn and keep the law that's already in place. And so he goes door to door asking for money, right? And he's supposed to get at least $120 in donations a night, but this guy gets like 1,000. He's the best canvasser in the country. This is like a countrywide thing. And so he's calling me and saying, Dad, it's getting a little ridiculous. Like, people are following me around from the company trying to figure out what I do. They want me to redesign their training program. And I'm like the youngest person in here, you know. And then the best part is that there was this really hot person his age, this woman, this 19-year-old girl. And she's a model, but also super smart and political, and they hooked up because he's like the star of his program. So he asked her out, and she said yes. So he now has an awesome, funny, humble, wonderful, beautiful girlfriend, and he's like just kicking butt and making money. I'm like, he's golden. He's like everything he touches. So that's my son. And if you go to ghostoftherobot.com, there's pictures of him. He's gorgeous. So.
Got another question over here.
Hey, what quote from Buffy has stayed with you for just how long? Like,
Out, boy, walk, bitch. Every script was memorable. I mean, every script got. There was gold in all of it, but that one stuck with me.
What was your favorite episode out of Buffy?
Wow.
Your favorite?
There were so many. My favorite episode. Wow. I think the musical. The reason I was telling people in life, the reason it's my favorite one is we all thought we were dead. We thought that Joss had gone crazy. We thought like the pressure got to this guy and he went insane, or his ego kind of fluffed up and we didn't notice, but he has decided to ruin the show. Remember when Fonzie jumped the shark? We were jumping the shark, you know, but way bigger than Fonzie. No one was doing a musical. No one does musicals, you know? And Joss gave us a cassette tape of him singing the song. And
Oh my God.
as a singer, he's a really great writer. Fabulous writer. Great human. As a singer, he's a great human being. So there's no writer that can withstand bad performance. There's no writer good enough to withstand a bad performance. Like, bad Shakespeare is the worst thing you could ever put yourself through. So even Joss can't stand his own singing, you know. Anyway, so instead of a script, we get the cassette tape. I was at lunch shooting Buffy, and I put the cassette tape in, and I hear him, you know, singing the songs, and I'm
Murdering.
like, fuck is what? Really confused, and I take the tape out, and I go back into the sunshine, and I open the door, and all the rest of the cast are opening their doors, and we're all with the cassette tape. And we came to find out that he's going to do a musical. Like, Josh, no, we're actually making money. And, you know, a lot of the cast, Tony Head and I were already singing publicly, so it wasn't such a problem for us to sing. But on top of the fact that we didn't think that he could write music, you know, a lot of the cast very rightly told Joss that when you hired me to be a one-camera dramatic / comedic actor, that is my wheelhouse. That is what I am willing to share with a wide audience. I don't juggle, because I can't. I don't do ventriloquism. I make a fool of myself. And I don't sing musical theater because I'm going to lose all of the interest that people have, you know. And you're going to flush my career down the toilet, you know, flush my career. So please don't do this to me. And Josh's like, no, you're going to do it. And so the reason that it is my favorite episode is because after all the whining and hand-wringing was over, we decided to bear down and work really hard. And in the face of sheer doom, we decided to go out swinging and try our best anyway. And so what you see in that musical is a lot of heart from the cast. And I was just very proud of us. And then oh my God, then it turned out. So we didn't know, Joss is a genius, okay. Now, but at that time, we had to prove that we actually had some spine. And I was very proud of us, yeah.
That's awesome. I think that's a fan favorite too, if I'm not mistaken. Got another question over here?
I spoke with you earlier, and you mentioned that Joss had you write a character for Firefly.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to hear that story.
Yeah, right on. I used to come up with ideas for stuff for Buffy, and I'd say, hey, how about this for story? And he'd be like, James, that's really good. Wow. And then there's me. So like you're a good writer, but I'm me. So you know, you're not gonna rewrite my show, kid. You know. And I was also the one that could tell where he was going. Like no one could guess what the next the story plot was going to be, and I always knew. And he's like, how do you do that? No one else knows that. And I said, well, it's easy, Josh. You just take the intelligent choice that most really good writers would take, and then flip it on its head. Do the opposite of that and make it work really well.
Yeah.
Like Avengers is a perfect example. Like you would expect the Avengers to be a story about the super friends who all get along great and save the world. And he makes it about a bunch of jerks who are about to eat each other alive and can barely be bothered to save the world. But they have to overcome their own egos and everything. And it's just so much more interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were on the phone, and he was doing Firefly, and he wanted to take a little role, a little nebbish role in Firefly, like 4 lines. And the network didn't want him to do that, and he was sad about this. And I said, Josh, you're a really good actor. I've seen your Hamlet. You're very good. And if you want to do a role, don't do a little tiny role. Do a great role. Give me a couple of days. I'll write one for you. He's like, whatever. And so I took a couple of days and I came up with this. I came up with Thelonious 187. So the Firefly crew are going through space, and there's a derelict ship that's lost power. They pick it up, and inside is this guy, and he's got really funky hair, and he's not handsome, and no one takes him seriously. He's like a nerd, and he's like, hi, he's like a Woody Allen, right? And he gets picked on a lot, and finally he's eating lunch in the lunchroom, and some guy's really in his face and really being abusive to him, and he's seeming to take it like he always takes it, and then in a flash, the guy's flying across the room, tables are upturned, and the guy's arm's broken. And no one even, it's happened so fast that no one even really is sure what happened. But they suspect that this Thelonious guy did it. But Thelonious is just going, I don't know, I just crapped my pants, I have no idea what happened at all. But you come to find out that Thelonious comes from a planet where when you come of age, you have to take a fire walk, which will probably kill you. But like a fire walk in the American Indians take a fire walk, and you have to prove your manhood. And if you make it, you grow up. If you don't, you die. And on Thelonious's planet, it's for both sexes. But you have to be cunning, you have to be ruthless, you have to be strong, you have to be intelligent, resourceful to make it through this fire walk. And if you do, you take the number of your parent and add 1 to it. So you don't take the name of your parent, you take their number. So if I'm James 4, it means that my father passed the walk, grandfather passed the walk, great-grandfather passed the walk, and that's very cool. And Thelonious is 187. Wow. So he's from the most badass family in the history of this planet, by far. And he is out to kill them all. And he, unfortunately, the human beings are affecting his planet in a way that he cannot stand. And they have no idea they're doing this, but he's just out, he's like, I'm so sorry to have to do this, but you guys gotta go. So, sorry. And he's the villain of the season. And so I wrote this out for him, I was like, play that. And he goes, James, this is actually really good. You do know I rip people off, right? I'm like, I know that. You're a writer, you all do that, but it's not ripping off, it's a gift. You deserve this, you should do it. But they canceled it.
That
so I don't
was
know
an
what would have happened.
amazing show.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I don't know. But that's what I wrote. That was my thank you card to Johnson.
We got time for one last question.
What?
Yeah? Really? You got a photo op coming up.
Well, we'll take a break. Do we have time?
Yeah.
We can go. Okay, whatever. Well, I got rules.
One last question.
Okay.
Did you prefer playing the good Spike or the bad Spike when you were doing that character?
Bad Spike. When you play a hero character, you're always guilty. You're always feeling bad. You have to overcome some inner turmoil, and you're always guilty that you're not saving everyone fast enough. So you're always running to and fro, sweating, feeling guilty, dredging up some childhood pain to get the shots, right? When you're a villain, you just lurk. And you wait for the hero to run by, all huffing and puffing and sweating and worrying, and then you pop them, jump out of the shadow, and they put the great music behind you, and then you go home. It's so easy. As long as you're willing to lose the final fight, right? Because they'll build you up as cool and as powerful as the hero up until that moment, so there's a good climax. So you get all the cool, and you just have to fight. I don't care about that final fight. So as long as you lose it manfully. So frankly, once I got a soul, filming Buffy became very painful. In fact, it sent me to therapy. It was, and good. That was probably the best gift this show ever gave me. I got there, but that was really hard because I mean, frankly, at one point I'm in a basement, right, and Spike's. All the victims of 120 years of victims are coming back on him one at a time saying, hi, remember me?
Right.
You know, I was 14 years old and you killed me, and this is what it is. And so to play that, I was dredging up everything I felt guilty of as a human being and beating myself over the head with it for months. And when you do that for months on end, it adds up. Like, no therapist would tell you to do that. That's the opposite of mental health, right? But that's acting. And that's why some actors just, like when Daniel Day-Lewis was doing Hamlet, and he started actually seeing his dead father, and he had to quit. They had to stop the run on the West End of London because he actually was concerned for his mental health. And a lot of people were like, well, Daniel Day-Lewis is crazy. And I was like, no, actually that's acting. And he's actually taking it, he's doing it seriously. But that's a dangerous role. So yeah, villains, thank you, villains. But I played a hero on this Salem thing. I played a good dad. So who knows what's in the future? Maybe I'll have to sweat and care about things. Guys, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Don't forget, he's going to have his concert tonight, right downstairs, so make sure you stop by there. Stop by, see him at his table. We're going to do his photo op here in about 20 minutes.